Caddismax. Let's see, this time with a quick review of the Stabila 70 TMW, their basic torpedo level. This can be found for pretty cheap, $20–$30 range, and it's not a bad level. There's some people who really subscribe to Stabila levels in general, and I believe they're certainly accurate. But as far as durability, and I even have a 4-footer, is the cheaper models of any level, including Stabila, that have the aluminum frames, may not be the most durable. But what I do like is that they do have durable vials, and they do not break. It always seemed to be an issue with older levels, and they say they are electronically calibrated. They are pretty darn accurate. Indeed, made in Germany. This is an older PL360. They just dropped that entirely, and they just call them the 70 TMW. They have more expensive models that are like $30 or $40, which have rare earth neodymium magnets, but the basic one just has just a regular flexible magnet on it. They even like to advertise on the level. It's accurate within 1 millimeter over a meter of length. That obviously means that 3.3 feet out, it'll be off by just a tiny amount at the most. This does have a rotatable vial here that does have quite a bit of stiction, but you can use it to attempt to set it. I probably should put a little lube in there, but at least it doesn't move very easily by itself, which is probably a handy thing. And you can set this at a particular angle, say 45 degrees. There we go. They have a big spring on the inside. It makes it pretty stiff, but at least they do have little markers for 45 degrees. So you just get this adjusted, as close as you can. It isn't quite the same as having a bubble that is at 45 degrees, and I thought if they had this adjustable one, since it is a little bit finicky trying to really get it precisely, you'll be somewhere around 45, but I put a little bit of oil in there, it still gets stuck. The newer ones have green bubbles, so the green is easier to see, so I do appreciate that, but hopefully this wheel is a little bit easier to adjust. And many times you are using 45 degrees. It is common, and you really want that to be pretty accurate. And many small levels will have just a fixed 45 degree. Probably one of my shortest videos yet. There isn't a ton to talk about, but I think these are nice levels. But there's this, things like small torpedo 12-inch levels are super common, and they all seem to be made to about the same quality. So I just say choose whichever one you really like. The Stabilas aren't bad. I just wish the frames were a little thicker. Maybe down here they could have added a cutout so it'd just be a little bit easier to grab in certain situations. It is drop rated. That's the idea with these plastic caps. The one problem I've certainly seen on job sites is where these ends get beat up as they get used and dropped and thrown in the toolboxes. And that causes these caps. This one's in pretty good condition. The cap's still pretty loose. You drop them, these caps will pop out. And then all you're left with is a surprisingly sharp open box frame, maybe easier to handle. But then this really wants to get crushed and squashed after that. And then there's that spring, it just goes between this bubble and the housing, and for some reason it just has, even after putting some oil on it, there's just a ton of friction. I mean, I can barely even get this thing to rotate without using, the force of two hands. At least with this opening here, we can see the reason that they are so proud of their warranty is that the bubble is just in a huge, thick cross-section of plastic. This isn't a window over a bubble. This is the bubble and just a huge piece of either acrylic, maybe it's polycarbonate. I'm not entirely sure, but that really does make it pretty heavy duty. And why I can say don't think I've ever seen a broken bubble itself on a Stabila level. Which, is kind of a shame because they should just use a little bit, I got that on wrong, heavier duty frames, and I think they'd be super great. And just an easier way to hold it, so or for some reason you're working in the rain or have some oil on your hands, it just isn't, super, it may be slick to work on, or work with, I should say. So it'd be nice to have some kind of, once again, finger detents or some other way to grab it besides, by the bubble itself. And of course, you're dirtying it up. So it'd be kind of small things like that, which is set different manufacturers apart. It appears with levels, they're getting pretty close to each other. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody watching and subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Until next time, Catus Maximus out.